Hey guys, most of the time we are covering in videos what to do. I think we should also once in a while cover what not to do. So for example, in booking test, last time we added this before each and after each methods to create a new unique booking ID and also to delete the bookings after the tests were done, right? Now you might ask, why did we use before each and why did we not use, let's say, before all and after all method? Wouldn't that be more efficient? Seems like yes. If you use before all, you only would need to create this ID once, and you only also would need to delete it only once. But the problem is, in that case, you'll be having these fields as static, and we all know that if you have static fields, and then if you're trying to run your test in parallel, they might work or they might not work, depending on if different tests are trying to uh, change them within the test. So for example, just to give an example, if I convert this into before all and if I convert this to after all, uh, alt enter, import class. First of all, you would need to change these fields from non-static fields to static fields. So you have to make it a static. Um, and even then, if you try to run the class, it will not work because these methods would also need to be static. So let's just do a quick run. I expect it to fail. Class configuration is failing. Before all method must be static. So if I say public static, run again, it should fail again, I believe, because it also expects the after all method to be static. So let's run it quickly. Class configuration, after all method should be static. So let's make it static. And now what's happening is we are setting these body and setting this booking ID as static values which are used across the project, right? In this particular case, we are not updating the booking ID once it is done, but we are manipulating the booking body. So in this particular case, we are only updating the booking body once, and that is the reason you don't see any conflicts. But let's say if I have maybe a repeated test, and if I repeat this test for 6 times, and if I randomly generate this data, maybe not a repeated test, maybe let's just do it a value source, right? And if I give the value source as nodes, uh, let's say, um, yeah, let's just call it as AJ, uh, VT, um, PY, right? And let's see why is it complaining. Expected uh, should be correct, right? Or is it like string equals? Let me quickly look up value source. Okay, my bad. So the way you have to provide string sources, you have to write it as small string. So you have to say strings, and then you have to provide it inside curly brackets, right? So, and then if I say string, and I'll say names, maybe first name, then let's provide this as a value. And in this particular test, since we have the same booking ID and we are updating it with different names, I don't know if each test affects another test, right? So first name, uh, let's say actual. So first name actual, and what we want is we will assert it with whatever we have provided. Test, parameterized test, and now let's run it. So we have the same booking ID and we're trying to change these values Look, this is the live example, right? So we have the same booking ID and different tests are in parallel trying to set the first name with different values. And now they are affecting each other, right? So when we expect this, we get this. When we expect this, we get this. All of these tests are actually affecting each other, which is not what you would want, right? First name, yeah. If I run it again, so this time the name is different. You know, so that's a good use case that why you should not rely on. So you see, one time the actual is py, one time, yeah. So now it's all the time the actual is py. Uh, expected, yeah. But if I change this, by the way, back to non-static methods. So if I make these non-static fields, make it before each. Let's also make this after each, right? Remove the static method, and now if I run the same test, we'll have no problems because each test will run uniquely, having its own unique ID, and then it should be thread safe. You see, all the tests are green, and no matter how many times you run it, it will always be thread safe. So that's a good example of why you should rely on non-static fields and non-static methods most of the time. You never know when a test would affect another test by manipulating the state of that particular field. So that's it for this video, and we'll try to find something interesting for the next video.